Better man, sometimes, you have to learn from your mistakes.
What do you think of what she's been able to do with Basketball Wives Empire?
It's smart, and I wish all those women.
But that's
It's the music recording network. Out of the shower to the bedroom, from the bedroom to the studio, to the best. If your day is blown, we crank to the morn. Make sure your sub is on while we playing your song. And it's gonna be on. We rock 3 channels up here on this YouTube stream, and we always let our subscribers know that they are supreme. Haters stand by cause we so fly. React to the beat cause I'm that guy to move you all night long. Why I tell you what's happening in the song. Music make me crazy, baby, do it for me louder. Viewers know my cross keep on bumping with the song. I'ma make you sweat until they turn the house lights on. After party at the Music Recording Network.
What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing? Hey, check this out. Shaquille O'Neal, my main man, Shaq. Wait, he reveals. I took my glasses off. God damn. Shaq reveals how Diddy set him up to be killed. This is why Shaquille hates Diddy. Whoa. Now, Shaquille, I think Shaquille is pretty cool. Everybody got their, problems. He got a divorce from his wife but Shaquille does, everybody had problems, but Shaquille does a lot of things that if I had this type of money, I would do. I would go in Walmart and just find some people and buy some kids some bicycles the parents wouldn't buy all the groceries for people that's in them, Another thing that Shaquille does is he'll go to a restaurant and I've seen videos of him talking and other people talking about this, that he would ask the waiter, what do you think your tip should be? Nobody ever asked a waiter that, and the waiter like, well, I think my tip should be $500. Okay, $500. I think my tip should be $1,000. Okay, here's $1,000. And so this one lady said something like, I think my tip should be $4,000 or $5,000, some big number. I can't remember what the number was. And Shaq said, well, why do you think your tip should be that much? And she explained her story on how she need this money to send her kids to a college, he would be the first person to go to college or whatever the big story is. And Shaq said, oh, okay. Well, hold on, stay right there. So he went to the bank and got exactly what she asked for. They end up, the restaurant end up firing the lady that worked there that asked for the money. You shouldn't be asking for money, whatever the case may be. And then Shaq found out about it and gave her a job making 3 times as much as she was making at the restaurant. Yeah, true story. So I'm down with Shaq. So Shaq, don't you let me down now. I hope you ain't on them Diddy tapes, are you? Look here, man. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. Let's see what Shaq got to say about this bad boy. Let's check it out. No echo, my bad.
The guy was complaining to Puffy about Shaq taking his woman. Tell me about that.
Well, I think this guy was an A&R, or either he was the vice president of what you call it, R&B at Def Jam. And we was in California, so he came over there telling Puff that he was going to kill himself. So he was talking about he wanted to kill himself. Puff was trying to convince him, man, don't kill yourself over that. If you're going to kill somebody, kill Shaq.
Chile, not Diddy, putting out a hit on Shaq of all people. Shaq and Diddy's feud runs deeper than many realize, with rumors circulating about a serious conflict involving Shaq's wife, Shawnee. The streets are talking about Diddy allegedly taking extreme measures against Shaq over this situation. Their long-standing rivalry apparently escalated to dangerous levels, and Shaq came this close to getting unalived. And it looks like he is done keeping quiet about this, because the streets are saying that he is allegedly in talks with the feds to testify against Diddy in his trial next year. here. If you thought that the Diddy drama was bad before, well, it's about to get even wilder. If you're wondering how Diddy's beef with Shaq started, there are reports that Diddy got jealous because Shaq's got mad love in the black community. He's not just a basketball legend, but a real role model. He has been making moves way beyond the court and has his hands in all kinds of business. He owns restaurant franchises and even made bank with a sports drink company. But unlike Diddy, Shaq isn't just about making money. He's all about giving back too. The Shaquille O'Neal Foundation is his way of helping kids who don't have much. He has helped to create opportunities for young people who might not get them otherwise. This kind of work has folks looking up to Shaq as more than just a ball player. Shaq's also got away with the younger crowd, easily connecting with fans and spreading good vibes. Now, you'd think with all this good stuff, Shaq's image would be squeaky clean. But here's where it gets messy. Behind all the charity work and business success, there's a side of Shaq that's not so shiny. The streets are talking about how Shaq wasn't always the perfect husband. On his own podcast, Shaq straight up admitted to cheating on his ex-wife, Shawnee. He called himself a serial cheater and owned up to how his actions messed up his family.
It means that, when I was growing up, I was never taught how to be a boyfriend. So, the way I came into a relationship was I just showed up and it was there. So, I wasn't an expert when I got into that. But you have to learn from your trials and tribulations. She's a wonderful woman, very smart woman. And, we talk every now and then, but, I'm a better man. And, sometimes, you have to learn from your mistakes.
What do you think of what she's been able to do with Basketball Wives Empire?
It's smart, and I wish all those women.
But that's
I applaud you, Shaq. Yeah. I don't know what to say, man. We all human. We all make mistakes. Shoot. I applaud you.
You have to learn from your trials and tribulations.
You have to
she's
learn.
A wonderful woman, very smart woman. And,
Everybody's so quick to judge.
I talk every now and then, but I'm a better man. Sometimes
the one without no
mistakes.
What do you think of what she's been able to do with Basketball Wives Empire?
It's smart, and I wish all those women.
But that's not even the craziest part. Word on the street is that Shaq was deep in the mix with Diddy's infamous parties. The ones where things got real wild.
It probably was. Who? You got all this money. Who ain't gonna party? It's a party. This is what all the rich and famous people do. Well, I'm rich and famous. Let me see what this is about. I bet you he wasn't there that long.
It's hard to fit this image with the Shaq we see on TV, cracking jokes and giving back to the community. But that's the thing we've learned since this Diddy mess started. There's always more to the story. According to reports, the streets' love for Shaq made Diddy extremely jealous, especially because everyone knew that Shaq wasn't perfect. Meanwhile, Diddy was out here with all his money and success, but he couldn't seem to get the same kind of respect, even though nobody knew what sort of villain he was. Even though Diddy was a billionaire, all that money couldn't buy him the love Shaq got. It's like the more money Diddy stacks, the less respect he gets, and that's when things start getting really ugly. Just like Shaq, Diddy had his hands in everything. He had clothing lines, a vodka brand, and all kinds of business deals. But here's the thing, all that success wasn't enough for him, and he was desperately chasing something money can't buy: respect. See, Diddy's always been about that hustle. He started as an intern and worked his way up to being one of the biggest names in hip-hop. But even with all his accomplishments, he can't seem to shake off the haters. People are always talking about how he's not a real artist, or how he's just riding on the success of others. Diddy tried everything to earn that respect. He threw the biggest parties, made the flashiest music videos, and even changed his name a bunch of times. But nothing seemed to work. And it's not just the public giving Diddy a hard time. His relationships with other celebs are a whole mess too. He's had beef with Drake, and don't even get me started on what went down with Biggie. These fallouts just made it harder for Diddy to get that acceptance he was after. All this rejection and drama has been building up for years. Diddy's watching guys like Shaq get all the love, even when they mess up. Meanwhile, he was out here grinding, but he still couldn't get any respect. Anywho, word on the street is that Diddy's jealousy of Shaq pushed him over the edge. He couldn't stand seeing Shaq be loved by everyone, even after admitting to cheating. So Diddy allegedly cooked up a plan to take Shaq out for good. Now we're about to get into the nitty-gritty of this plot. Diddy wasn't playing around. He was ready to go to extreme lengths to get rid of Shaq. The details of his plan are wild, and they show just how far Diddy was willing to go in his quest for respect. Forget everything you thought you knew about celebrity rivalries. What went down between Diddy and Shaq takes things to a whole new level of crazy. We're talking jealousy, betrayal, and a plot so wild that it's hard to believe it's not fiction. Shaq's ex-wife, Shawnee, was at the center of the mess. She had previously been married to another man, and Shaq put moves on her and started dating her while she was still married to someone else. Her ex-husband was all torn up about the affair, and he went to Diddy for advice. A big mistake. Diddy, being Diddy, didn't exactly give the most helpful advice. According to Gene Deal, who saw it all go down, Diddy told the guy, "If you're gonna kill somebody, kill Shaq."
Tell me about the situation where the guy was complaining to Puffy about Shaq taking his woman. Tell me about that.
Well, I think this guy was an A&R, or either he was the vice president of what you call it, R&B at Def Jam. And we was in California, so he came over there telling Puffy that he was going to kill himself because Shaq had went to the law office in which his wife worked at, who is Shawnee, who was Shaq's wife. You understand? Who was his wife. Shaq went to the house, went to the law firm and told her, "Listen here, I want you. You ain't got to pack nothing. I want you to come with me." I guess he was shooting game to a way before that time, and she ended up going with Shaq, according to him. So he was talking about he wanted to kill himself. Puff was trying to convince him, "Man, don't kill yourself over that. If you're going to kill somebody, kill Shaq." You know what I'm saying? So
that ain't cool.
It was funny to me for this dude to be pouring his heart out and crying and asking Puff what he should do and what he could do. You understand? And at that given time, Puff's opinion was, "You don't kill yourself, kill Shaq."
This whole situation just shows how deep Diddy and Shaq's beef really goes. It wasn't just about fame or money anymore. Diddy was so caught up in his feelings about Shaq that he was willing to encourage violence. The details of this so-called plot are wild. It wasn't just talk. There were actual plans being made. The guy Diddy was talking to had a history of being unstable, which made the whole thing even more dangerous. If he had taken Diddy's words seriously, who knows what could have happened? The timeline of all this is pretty messed up. As Shaq and Shawnee's relationship got more serious, the tension between Diddy and Shaq just kept building. Now, you might be wondering how all this came to light. Well, it turns out the guy Diddy was talking to had a full-on emotional breakdown and spilled all the details about his conversations with Diddy to Gene Deal. In the end, the plot never went through. Maybe the guy came to his senses, or maybe someone stepped in to stop it. Either way, it's a good thing nothing happened to Shaq. But even though nothing physical went down, the damage was done. This whole mess exposed just how deep the bad blood between Diddy and Shaq really goes. It also showed a side of Diddy that many people didn't know existed. Now, Diddy and Shaq's relationship is more messed up than ever. There's no coming back from something like this. But to be fair, it's not like Shaq is exactly an angel because he also has his fair share of drama. While everyone's been focusing on Diddy's drama, Shaq's been flying under the radar with some pretty heavy stuff. The big man's got a dark side that's about to come to light, and it's way worse than anyone expected. For those who don't know, Shaq's been accused of some serious crimes. We're talking about a kidnapping plot connected to gang members. This went down back in 2008, and it involved Shaq's friend, Robert Ross. The whole thing started because Ross had a tape of Shaq cheating on his wife, and there are rumors that Diddy was behind the leak. But that's not even the worst of it. In 2011, right after Shaq retired, He was investigated for being a shot caller in another kidnapping attempt. The cops were looking into how Shaq was connected to gang members who snatched up Ross to get that cheating tape back. It's like something out of a crime movie, but this is real life. Robert Ross didn't keep quiet about all this. He spilled the beans, saying Shaq ordered him to take out several people, including a gang member who disrespected Shaq, a record producer Shaq had beef with, and even a woman Shaq had gotten pregnant. Ross even claimed Shaq wanted him to break an NBA player's shooting arm. Now, how did Shaq manage to keep his image so clean with all this going on? Well, his connections in law enforcement might have something to do with it. Shaq's an honorary police officer, which might explain why he's still seen as a wholesome figure despite these wild allegations. But here's where it gets real. Shaq's ex-wife, Shawnee O'Neal, confirmed in court that she'd seen the tape of Shaq cheating. That tape was a big part of why they got divorced in 2009. It's one thing to hear rumors, but when your ex-wife backs it up in court, that's hard to ignore. All this stuff about Shaq is making people see him in a whole new light. It's hard to square this image with the funny, lovable guy we see on TV. But that's the thing about celebrities. There's always more to the story than what we see on the surface. The wild part about this is that even though everyone knows this about Shaq, he still gets mad love from the streets. But Diddy never got that level of love, even when nobody knew what he was like. According to reports, Shaq felt Diddy's negative energy, which is why he chose to distance himself and stop associating with him as much. Given what we now know about Diddy, let's just say that Shaq made the right choice.
So the cops are exposing Diddy for allegedly putting a hit out on Suge Knight right from his jail cell. Y'all, this man is a menace, and we might need the Avengers to step in because this is getting out of hand. Diddy and Suge Knight have had beef for more than 30 years now, but not only have they been having beef, but the new reports have it that Suge has been sitting on some pretty explosive information about Diddy that is way worse than we would have ever imagined. Allegedly, Diddy recently became aware of this, and he is reportedly desperate to keep this under wraps. So
Wait a minute. Did she say, wait a minute? Both of them in jail. Remember when they was both out of jail in the drama they was, rest in peace to Biggie and Tupac. With all that drama in the streets, they gone. Both of these people in jail, and now we still got drama. Y'all can't stop no drama.
So desperate that he allegedly tried to get Suge taken out, even though they're both behind bars. And this is about to reach insane levels of messy. Now remember how I mentioned that the industry was out to get Diddy and that the efforts to bring him down would intensify? Well, it seems I was right, as Suge Knight is now getting involved in the drama. The revelations he's making about Diddy are nothing short of shocking. If you thought that things we already knew about Diddy were bad, Suge's latest disclosures have taken it to a whole new level. Worse than anyone could have anticipated. For some context, Suge and Diddy have been rivals for nearly 30 years, and their feud is rooted in the infamous East Coast versus West Coast conflict in rap industry. This rivalry lasted for years, causing chaos within the music world, and Suge Knight owned Death Row Records with Tupac Shakur as his star artist, while Diddy ran Bad Boy Records with Biggie Smalls as his main talent. It's no secret that Tupac and Biggie didn't get along, and their rivalry fueled a much larger feud between the two camps. In fact, members of Death Row and Bad Boy couldn't even stand each other, which leads many to believe that Diddy may have ordered a hit on Tupac to eliminate his competition. Now, I'm not saying for certain that Diddy was behind the hit on Tupac, but Keefe D, who was arrested in connection to the murder, has claimed that Diddy did indeed put the hit out and even paid the $1 million reward he allegedly promised to whoever took Tupac out.
Well, the story that has circulated was that after Tupac got kicked, Puffy allegedly gave the money to Zip.
Yes.
And Zip was supposed to give the money to Keefe and them.
Yes.
But he never gave the money to him.
But thank God he never gave him the money, right? Think about it. If he gave the money, Puffy will be in prison now, money for hire. So thank God. It's just a true story. I'm not saying yes or no, but if he would have gave them the money, it'd have been for hire and Puffy would be locked up.
Well, Keefe even revealed that the FBI was able to trace the money, confirming that Diddy did pay it out, but it didn't get to Keefe D.
The FBI said it was just...
So the FBI told you...
How in the world everything was gone, you didn't get paid, everything was gone. How in the world you get on all these podcasts and talk yourself into jail?
He was a dirty motherfucker, yeah.
So the FBI told you that Zip kept that money as well.
They said Zip's a dirty motherfucker. Everybody cross you. You the last one to know everything. Even lawyers, your friends, everybody can cross you.
Now, Keefe D didn't exactly admit to taking Tupac out on Diddy's orders, but because that would have been self-incrimination. But I think we can all agree he made his point when he mentioned that Diddy did pay out the money. I mean, putting $1 million bounty on someone's head in 1996, that's a serious sign that Diddy wanted Tupac gone. Y'all, even today, putting that kind of money on someone's head is wild, so just imagine how desperate Diddy allegedly was to have Tupac silenced back then. On top of the East Coast versus West Coast feud, there was also rumors that Tupac was planning to expose Diddy's sexuality in an upcoming song. Back in the 90s, being outed for being gay was pretty much a career death sentence in the music industry, and Diddy was not about to let that happen. Remember, he tried to end Wendy Williams' career when she dared to speak on his sexuality, which only added fuel to the fire and got people talking.
There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for
that's right. Sometimes you can't hold
talking
it.
about such. And now it's all come full circle.
Well, Wendy had already gotten the people going, and the last thing Diddy needed was someone as high profile as Tupac confirming the rumors and outing him. Many believe this is why Diddy allegedly had to act quickly. He was savvy enough to reportedly plan the at a time when Tupac was already involved in personal drama. On the night Tupac was shot, he and Suge Knight were in the MGM Grand Lobby when someone in their entourage, Trevon Lane, spotted a man named Baby Lane. Baby Lane had previously robbed him of his death row chain a few weeks earlier, rumored to have been on Diddy's orders. Well, Tupac and others jumped Baby Lane, who it turns out was Keefe D's nephew. Just a few hours later, Tupac was Keefe D in the car during the drive-by. At the time, it was assumed that the shooting was revenge for the altercation with Baby Lane. However, considering what we know now, it seems that Diddy might have been more involved than previously thought. After Tupac's death row records pretty much fell apart, as I mentioned, Tupac was their biggest artist on the label, and once he was gone, everything just crumbled. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg eventually left, and Suge Knight went from being one of the top label owners in Hollywood to losing his grip on that power. And if there's one person in the world who would have loved to see Diddy's life ruined, it's Suge Knight. And the thing is, Suge has been very outspoken about his disdain for Diddy. He's never pretended to play the Hollywood game or act like he's forgiven Diddy for anything. No, he's always been pretty upfront about how much he can't stand him and has consistently stood on big business about it. So when Cassie came forward to expose Diddy for his bad behavior and mistreatment, Suge probably did a whole cartwheel in prison. And that would have been a big old cartwheel because he's big. And yeah, just to remind you, Suge's been in prison since around 2018, serving a 28-year sentence for voluntary manslaughter after a 2015 hit and run. He's not eligible for parole until 2034. While Cassie's lawsuit left the rest of us shook as F, Suge wasn't all that surprised because he's also known what kind of man Diddy is. I mean, a guy allegedly willing to take out one of his greatest rappers of all time isn't exactly going to hesitate when it comes to putting his hands on a woman he's with. Well, rapper Azalea Banks also confirmed Cassie's allegations when she said, "This is true. One time Diddy beat her up so bad, he sent her on a 3-week vacation to Hawaii just so no one would see or question how her face got like that." Well, Azalea is known to be one of the meanest and most controversial rappers in Hollywood. So if she's siding against Diddy and backing Cassie, then y'all better know that whatever Diddy did was foul as F. But there's also the part where Cassie revealed that Diddy tried to unalive Suge for no reason at all. The document said, for example, on one occasion when Mr. Combs and Miss Ventura were using drugs together in his home, one of his security staff barged in and announced that Suge Knight, a longtime rival of Mr. Combs, was spotted at Mel's Drive-In Diner in Los Angeles. Mr. Combs began to get dressed, retrieved multiple guns from a safe, and ran out of his home to where he believed Mr. Knight was dining. Diddy knew how bad it looked, and he chose to settle the lawsuit with Cassie after only one day, which made him look guilty as F. I mean, people already believed that he was guilty and that if the case had gone to court, he would have found even more nasty secrets out. Like I said, he was super desperate to keep his secrets hidden. He was desperate enough to settle the lawsuit in only one day. And in the eyes of the public, he's guilty as F. However, Diddy's lawyers claim that just because he settled doesn't make him guilty. And they said, Just so we're clear, a decision to settle a lawsuit, especially in 2023, is in no way an admission of wrongdoing. Mr. Combs' decision to settle the lawsuit does not in any way undermine his flat-out denial of the claims. He is happy they got to a mutual settlement and wishes Miss Ventura the best. Well, Diddy probably thought him settling the lawsuit was enough to kill the story, but given the way that things have played out since then, and the fact that he is in currently deep trouble with the feds, I guess it's safe to say that his settling the lawsuit didn't quite work out the way he hoped. Anyways, Suge decided to take the opportunity to spill some more tea about Diddy's actions. Listen, if a man is willing to expose you from prison, then you better know that he's about to spill some truth, because he's trying to take you down. Well, now Suge has a podcast thing that he does from prison, and in one latest episode, he exposed some more crazy details about Diddy. For example, remember how Cassie said that Diddy put hands on her and blew up Kid Cudi's car after she started dating Kid Cudi? Well, Suge revealed that Diddy actually put hands on not only Cassie, but also his assistant at the time, Capricorn, because Capricorn knew about the affair and covered it up for Cassie.
It's not like it's new news. Same time he beat out of mother, what's a little girl named Cassie or whatever. He had an assistant by the name of Capricorn. He felt Cap was keeping it on the low about if she was messing with Cudi or not. Puffy beat that.
Now, if you're wondering why Capricorn would cover for Cassie and risk her own identity, it's because Capricorn is Lauren London's sister. Lauren and Cassie used to be friends back in the day, and I guess Capricorn was just trying to look out for her sister's friend, but it blew up in her face big time. Now, Suge wasn't capping because
crazy.
After Cassie filed her lawsuit, Capricorn shaded Diddy, saying, "Don't take the path of the wicked. Don't follow those who do evil. Stay away from that path. Don't even go near it. Turn around and go the other way. Proverbs 4:14, doors be unlocked. You gotta be willing to walk away from the money. Full stop. 2011 was hell." Capricorn left Bad Boy after Diddy got physical with her, but the truth only came out thanks to Suge. Back then, Diddy spun it like she got fired for theft, and he even made sure no one would hire her as an assistant again. I mean, imagine getting roughed up by your boss and then having him ruin your whole career. Capricorn also said, "Black women end up being the sacrifice for the effery. Last 11 years of my life, I had to deal with everyone's nonsensical allegiance to the devil. I pray that ends. I don't think highly of any of you. Can't keep your head down and pretend it's just cool no more. Do better." She then hinted that he had taken out Kim Porter because Kim was against his way of life. She shared a quote that Kim had said to her saying, "They will skin you and wear you, baby girl, then pretend they never wanted the skin." Kim was the only person who didn't switch up. The only one. Dark times. I'm personally very triggered. I pray it's over. I never deserved this. R.I.P. Kim Porter. Suge also then tried to expose Interscope Records for paying Capricorn off so that Diddy won't go to jail.
It was an Interscope person, the Interscope check that paid her to settle or he wouldn't go to jail.
Again, it's not like Capricorn had a lot of say in whether or not to accept the payoff, because she saw firsthand how he treated Cassie and how much of a dangerous man Diddy was, so she had no choice but to accept the money and run. But Diddy decided to be cruel and ruin her career. Suge then hinted very strongly that Diddy was going to jail.
Puffy go to prison or anybody else, I still feel that way. But at the end of the day, he'd never get charged or go to prison. I mean, he made too much money for the people that he basically worked for or had a business for. And when you look at it, he got lawyers, and her lawyers are smart also. They left some in, but they didn't go all the way. They basically went like, okay, they ain't gonna say he was participating with the mill also, because they now to make it like she was a part of it. And then they weren't gonna say he was, because they gotta leave some out and get them to settle for that $30 million. You know, and they had those side meetings like, you know, we didn't say the part why they were testing your guts out. Everybody know they've been testing your guts out. So let's settle, or that's coming out if we have to fight it. So I'm quite sure they're gonna settle like ASAP. Right before the Super Bowl, a girl came forward and recorded Drake had some else threatening what they was going to do to her and bring harm to her. A lawyer got it. At one time, Drake wasn't talking to Mike. It's a cat and mouse game all around the industry. I mean, Wale never spoke on the fact that what happened to him with Puff. Just like T-Pain was over there on the island, and he claimed they were trying to get a little fresh with him, but he's probably going to deny it, but everybody know the truth. His people had to run a boat to go get the mother off the island. But, you know, it's still the same shit. I'm not looking to see now get caught up. And if they get out the first one or get out this one, anyone, they better watch because they still coming, you know.
Damn. God dang,
go on. You go down. If you need to sell it, I'm going to grant you my sale, boy.
Suge went quiet for a while after that, but following Diddy's arrest a couple of weeks ago and the subsequent denial of his bail, Suge has had a whole lot to say about the situation. At first, he claimed that he wasn't going to shame Diddy or make fun of him, saying, "The first thing that came to my mind was he had a son. He had his daughters. My first reaction was about the kids. I feel it's a bad day for hip-hop. It's a bad day for the culture because it makes us all look bad. I'm not the type of guy to cheer for people's downfall," he said, adding that he's not going to pop champagne bottles if someone gets. "If I have a problem with Puffy, that's for him and I to sit in a room and resolve it."
My first reaction, it's not the reaction I thought I would have from the kid to Puffy. You know what I mean? I thought it'd be a reaction like, he got what he got coming because everybody know what's been going on. My reaction was actually different because I felt like, damn, the first thing came to my mind was, you know, he had his sons, he had his daughters. My reaction was first about the kids. And the thing is, I feel it's a bad day for hip-hop, bad day for the culture because it makes us all look bad.
However, that changed only in a matter of days because Suge started to reveal some never before known information about Diddy, even hinting that he had more dirt on Diddy that he's not scared to reveal, especially when it comes to Diddy's puppet masters. You know, the real people that have been pulling Diddy's strings all this time. According to reports, Suge Knight, co-founder and former CEO of Death Row Records, tells Cuomo that Sean Diddy Combs is not the only one to put younger artists through humiliating acts, describing various industry practices throughout the decades. The wild part about this, though, is that he also hinted that some of these powerful people have damaging information on Diddy that they have been using as leverage. Far worse than anything that the feds found on those tapes recovered from Diddy's houses. We already know the federal tapes were horrific, so if Suge is saying that the other tapes are worse, can you even imagine what could be on those tapes? Well, Suge said Diddy stepped in this ish. Even if he wiped off his shoe, it still stinks, but he's not the only one. They got all the tapes. Suge went on to claim that Diddy was taught by people before him, and he did it to the younger people after him. Suge revealed that the industry allegedly has a long history of essaying its newest members. He then went on to describe a horrible practice, which he referred to as the egg test. And trust me, it's worse than anything you could ever imagine.
Wow.
He said, "Those guys pulled their pants down and bent over. They stick the egg up their behind. Their eggs break, they say they're not ready yet. They ain't put enough work in. This is Hollywood." Without attending those parties, it's hard to comprehend what happened, but that doesn't mean it was a secret because this been going on in the industry for a whole bunch of years, for decades, and at the time, you know, nobody wanted to be true, and it shouldn't have to be true. Suge also said he believes Diddy's allegations stem from his own experiences, saying, you know, hurt people. Someone was essayed, they wind up being a perpetrator. The interviewer asked, "Is that what you're suggesting about Sean Combs, that he was essayed and he now essays?" And Suge replied, "Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I think it was done to him." What's more, Suge went on to reveal that the Interscope Records allegedly spent years enabling Diddy's bad behavior and often illegal behavior, accusing them of going as far as to hire someone whose job was to bring girls to have intercourse with employees and other artists to the point where his friend got caught up with the same thing. He also claimed that Interscope and Universal have a policy of not dealing with artists who get into trouble and are often the ones paying off the alleged victims of their artists, saying that a woman was allegedly essayed by Diddy and later settled with Interscope. He claimed that the company put her on the payroll as a means of repayment, with Knight adding he believes she had to pay taxes, and not the type you pay to the IRS, if you know what I mean. He said, "Shouldn't say that because I'm trying to protect her image, but he beat the ish out of her and Cassie." He did things to her you should never do to a woman. He finally topped it off by revealing that he had some horrible information that is guaranteed to send Diddy to prison and that he will be sharing it with the feds. He said, I don't care who you are. Prison is a negative environment. Somebody can do something to Diddy and get a name for themselves. But we also gotta learn. We gotta learn from our mistakes. You gotta better yourself. Diddy had a great run, but he should get his time out the way. If he doesn't get a life sentence, he had a great run. I've been locked up for 10 years and I ain't had a bad day yet. There's a lot of things we can do to help each other, and it's never too late for help. But did y'all catch that subtle blackmail about them helping each other? According to an insider, Suge was subtly sending a message to Diddy's handlers that he knew what was going on, and the word in the streets is that the feds allegedly intercepted a message between Diddy and someone in the outside world, allegedly trying to take Suge out. This explains why Diddy's bail was denied, because the feds believed that he was going to try to pull a crazy move and go after people who knew more secrets, people like Suge, who are sitting vulnerable in prison. Well, prosecutors made a solid case arguing for Diddy to be denied bail, and according to reports, they're worried he will intimidate witnesses and obstruct the case if he's released on bond. Prosecutors also say Diddy's got the money and the means to be a flight risk, and the feds say he had what appeared to be hotel room when he was arrested. Well, fans of course came hard for Diddy and praised Suge for speaking up at a time when the industry people are ignoring the situation. They left comments saying, Suge finally speaking. Suge deserves respect for always supporting Tupac. I'm here for it. I think we are going down a big deep rabbit hole here. Everyone is coming out with new allegations every day. The old saying, every dog has their day. Diddy brother love going down. And Diddy is a monster. He deserves every bit of what's happening to him. I don't feel sorry for this inhumane monster, but this is crazy. Do y'all believe Suge's revelations about Diddy? Or do you think that he's just trying to start some drama and get a get out of jail free card? Drop your thoughts and comments below and then check out this next video.
Oh my gracious. This is getting ridiculous. The thing that trips me out is Diddy is in jail, getting in trouble, but he's trying to go up for bail to get out. Wouldn't you think you would try not to get in trouble? You would follow the rules so you can have a possibility of getting bail since this is your last chance? I heard that you can go for bail many times you want, but for some reason, he is doing something with the phones. You're supposed to get a PIN code or whatever, a private PIN code to make a phone call, and he getting other people, and they say on the call you cannot get his PIN code out to nobody. That's against the rules. He's getting the PIN code from people to use their phone or their phone time and putting money on their books or whatever, however that system works. So he can get them to call other people so he can do whatever he needs to do and tell people not to testify and all this type of stuff. Boy, Diddy, I don't know if it was the alcohol people. I don't know who you pissed off that's pulling some strong powers, but they are teaching you a lesson. And people say, well, they gonna kill him in jail. I don't think they gonna kill him in jail. I think this lesson is bigger than that. I think that, first of all, if they were gonna kill him, they would have killed him by now. I think the word is, if somebody killed him, we don't want him dead. We want him to suffer for the rest of his life. That's what I think the verdict is. From whoever's pulling that big string. That's what I think. I'm just telling you what I think, and I don't think that he's gonna make bail. I've been saying that from day one. I don't think he is, but that's just my opinion now. Don't come shooting me because I have an opinion. It's called the Fifth Amendment. Now the Fifth Amendment is when I plead the Fifth. What's that? The Second Amendment. The Second Amendment. See how much I know? Y'all don't know nothing. Look here. I'm going to get on up out of here. Hey, put that you are a ender in the comments. You are a ender. Shout out to Tahir. Say hi to Tahir. I'm a ender because he the one gonna be checking these because I got work to do. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell him Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out. I miss my echo, so sometimes I use it. Peace out, y'all.